So
Shush, shush.
I've not been on a lot. Is Steven doing better?
Shush, 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 shush. We're going live. Hold on, hold on.
All right. Sorry. I'll ask that later.
And there's Tommy J in the house and Davy Boy. G'day, Tommy J, Davy Boy, and with us on audio we've got Luke. G'day, Luke. How you doing?
All right.
We've been having a bit of a conversation about a few other things on the startup or lead up here. And Luke's got a few questions he's going to throw out to the audience there very shortly. But we'll wait for everybody to get involved first. Where are we? Let me just make sure I got the right screen up there very shortly. Whoop, and get rid of that loop. There we go. I think we're good. Yeah, so there's Dallo, g'day Dallo, and Three Joes and Mark Verdun. Just the usual crowd. We might actually, I don't know, when I was checking before, yeah, Chuck is still broadcasting, so and I didn't really want to do that. Chuck is still broadcasting, so we may have a few people not showing up as usual, because people like Chuck as well. He decided to do a 9 o'clock in the morning stream, and he probably is going to be going an hour or so. Anyway, Robert Groves, g'day, how you doing? How's everybody doing this morning? Tommy J, the house is looking great. Yeah, well, we had some house footage and video there in the last video, giving you a bit of a snapshot of life, which of course spurred the whole living in Thailand, luxury living in the land of smiles basic theme. We're going to try to the last couple of weeks I've come in pretty unprepared, but this week I've actually got some stuff to talk about. And of course that's a good lead up, or it's always good to do it after we do a bit of a house update as well. Trench Travels, g'day, how you doing? Yeah, so Luke, what was it you were? Oh my God, I know we've just been talking. What was it you were asking about? Actually, right, you were asking about the cables. Right, the cables. Got to looking at this picture here on the street. Let me actually go to the extra small so that we can actually see the cables. He was making a comment about this power cable issue here in Thailand, and I was trying to explain to her. And not many people realise it, but this massive cable that we see here on the streets here in Thailand is not power cables. And for some reason, yeah, that'd be right. Something else is not working. I have to look up here. Oh no, there we go. It's working now. Yeah, so this stuff here that we see on the street is not power cable. Okay, there's some power cable. There's some 440 volt there. We've got Davy Boy. He's feeding. No, Davy or Luke? I don't know. Who's that? Luke.
How are you, mate?
G'day, Davey. Yeah, I think it's Luke's. Luke, you've got your speakers feeding back a little bit too far. Anyway, yeah. So this is 440 volt into the street. This is your three-phase 440 into the street, fairly high up. That's right. Sorry, Luke. I'm going to have to mute you until you sort that out, because it confuses my head. Yeah, so yeah, that's 440 volt coming in there. There's a step down transformer to the 240. The 240 volt is running there on that side. It's also running here on this side of the street. I don't know if you can see the mouse pointer, but the rest of this stuff here is what do you call it? Comms computer cable, or not computer cable, like cable TV, copper wire for telephones, you name it. Everything is just thrown into the one bunch. There's millions of dollars worth of cable running around Thailand, and alas, 95% of this cable here is no longer used. The trouble is we've got 5 or 6 different telephone companies who can't work out who owns what cable because of the way it's been put up and strung up, right? And we may find that out of that 100 cables on that side and 100 cables on that side, probably only one person is actually using it. Of course, that person will be probably either a true customer, but for 3BB or for AIS to come round and pull down their cables, the chance of them pulling down the person who's still connected on that cable is extremely high. Marco, thanks, sir. Thanks very much. G'day, guys. Could you please attempt to stop them after every 2 words? It's very annoying. Well, unfortunately, I'm ad-libbing, so it's a bit of a difficult one. I'm not a public speaker. I'm thinking as fast as I'm talking, and I don't have a script, so that's why we and a little bit. Yeah, but as I said, the AIS company may have a cable there for a paying customer, but for True to come around and pull down their cables, the chance of them pulling down the copper that's in the street for somebody else's carrier is very highly likely. So what happens in Thailand is the copper goes up and it never comes down until, of course, there's a mandate from the Bangkok Metropolitan Society, or what do they call themselves, the people who govern it. They say it has to come down and go underneath the road. That's when all the companies, all the telecom companies get together and start to negotiate whose cables is whose and inconvenience anybody else who's probably still connected. That's why it very rarely happens. Now, I know there was a big push in the centre of Bangkok recently, but when it comes out of the suburbs here, it just doesn't happen. There's just effectively there's millions of dollars worth of copper in the street, and you could recycle that copper for quite a pretty penny. But who gets the copper? Have they labelled each piece of copper? Like I could imagine they're going to argue over who owns the copper. So it's just never going to happen, unless of course it all comes down and gets thrown into waste. But anyway, let's see if Luke's fixed him. Have you fixed your feedback problem there, Luke? Where is he? Oh, he's put himself on mute. That's all right. Once he sorts it out. Okay. Darlo, couple of markup. Want more ums and ahs? Okay, so we're going to have a bit of a fight around that. Yeah, like I said, it's one of those. This is a style of, if I have something I can read, which I do have something to read here, by the way. So I've got some articles. Where are we? There's got some articles to read. You'll probably find less ums and ahs because I'm reading something. But moving right along. So we did a bit of an update on the house, and I've already had a few people coming on, especially in the comments section, asking questions. The first thing I'll get out there and answer: no, we're not buying 2 houses. That's the first thing I want to make sure people are quite on the page with. The situation we've got is the fact that we've got by March we'll have the 20% deposit for the house, which is in Bangkok or in Nakhon Pathom. So we have that money, which complies with the current mandate set by the Thai government for banks to loan money on. All the other paperwork's good. She's got a good business. She's got a profitable business. Everything's working. She's had 2 years of financial records for the business and so on and so forth. So all that is very, very sweet. The thing that's been a bit of the hold up is I could have dumped the money across in one fell swoop, but that sends red flags everywhere around the place with the banking system. So I try to keep the deposit, this money coming through under that, under a certain level, which moves across with pretty much not causing any ruffles on anybody's feathers. Bank systems don't like losing money, especially to another bank. So we just move a little bit across at a time, and I just do it gradually every month. Just include it in my my monthly spending. So my monthly transactions with the banking is twice as what I'm normally bringing across. But that gives you an idea. We're just bringing the money across gradually, right? And by next month we'll have the full deposit. Now, whether the bank actually will then sort of approve the loan or not is the unknown factor. We don't really know. We can't govern it. We are in a recession here. The whole planet is in recession, and banks specifically are being extremely cautious with lending money to anybody. What can you do? You can't change the rules, right? What we've also got, we've got a sort of the COVID situation here in Thailand is looking fairly good. Yes, Stephen, the recession we had to have. We did that in 2008, and we did that in 2001. Oh my God, let's not go there. Well, we're always having recessions because the banksters are always doing things to frick the system up, But aside from that, we've got everything's happening and moving along quite nicely. The thing that's most recently come into the foray is the whole idea is our good uncle, that's on the good family side, which is on mother's family side. That's mother's younger brother, of course. He's the head of the traffic police in Pratham Thani right now. So he has a very high, elevated position in the police force. He put in for a transfer to Sukhothai because he wants a more relaxed lifestyle. Pratham Thani is a bit of a hell of a place. It's a bit like our area around here as well. It's hectic. And he wants to he wants to sit down and enjoy his life at his age, So he's put in for a transfer to Sukhothai, and that transfer has been approved. So he will move to Sukhothai, or to Sesamrong, at a very elevated position in the police force. So now Chanya's sort of saying, let's live in Sukhothai. Look at you. Whatever you want, darling. As long as I get into it, I don't care. I really don't care. I'm happy to live and make sure that you're happy. Of course, moving to Sukhothai, our salon pretty much moves. Apart from the glass windows at the front of the shop, I don't think we can take that stuff with us. Maybe we can. I really don't know about the whole moving thing. We'll definitely tell you as things develop if we go down this path. But yeah, so pretty much all the stock and chattels in the shop, that will just get shoved into a big van, and it'll move we'll rent a shop front in Sesamrong, and she'll set up the salon in Sesamrong. She'll probably only get half the customers that she gets now. The customers will probably vary a little bit more in their age group. Currently, she does really good. Because we're near the university here in Soi 110, and she gets a lot of the modern hairstyle stuff. Of course, last month things have been a little bit low because the schools have been closed. But she's what the hell was that? She's definitely. I'm not even going to ask what that was. But yeah, so she gets a lot of what they call it, university student as clients who want the colour hair and the two-tone colours, and yeah, that's right. Sorry, Stephen, you farted, did you? So she gets a lot of that modern styling. She doesn't really sort of cater for the, the what we call it, the blue rinse set. I think we used to call it in Australia. She doesn't, although she can do it, she doesn't cater for the blue rinse set, and not that the Thais really do the blue rinsing anyway. So, but you get the idea. So she has a particular styling she uses for the shop, for her customers, and that would mean she'd probably get a less of that sort of passing clientele. But she does a good job. So, it'll take a year for her to develop. But what we'll be doing there is we will be moving up there. We'll probably take a rental in Si Samrong or somewhere around there to rent while we build. Which is, I think that's what Uncle's going to be doing. He's going to be renting and building at the same time. He's got some land up there because it's obviously family owned. Mother's got 3 or 4 rye. We've been told we can have 70, 80 square metres of that land to build something on. There's no cost for that land, but we will get a lease put on it. That's sort of like that's Chanya's inheritance, you might sort of say. She'll get it before Mother passes away, and we'll build on that particular plot. Where we actually put it, that's another question. Anyway, and we'll go on to talk about that in a minute. I just want to just make sure I haven't missed anything apart from the Marco Gan and his worry about my my ums and ahs. What have we got? Transfer. How is Sydney? How is Sydney? I have 3 weeks work up there. Okay. Trent travels. How's Sydney? Okay. Good morning, Mr. Monash. Anthony Riley. G'day. How you doing? Warren Thierad. Good morning. Good evening. Good day. Good everybody. Paul in Sydney. Good morning. 60. Thank you. 40 years old in a few months. Thank you very much. Just a few months, 240 months between friends is not worth counting. Just filters, carry on. Or hesitation. Yeah, I could not and ah. I could just stop, think, and talk like that, which it's just not me. I'm sorry. Dallo, Stephen Mono says, Mark again. That's 16 arms in 2 minutes. Yes, good. Good to see somebody counting. Marco counting. Recession we had to have. I can't tighten my belt anymore. I got that at 82.9 kilos the way in this morning, so I broke the 83 kilo mark. So things are moving along quite nicely there. 106 arms. I'm still counting. Good. Morning, William. G'day, William. How you doing? Government says technically we're not in recession. What? It's a depression. It's a full-blown depression. 2 quarters of negative growth is a recession in my book. Always has been, always will be. A good thing about no job, no money, no food, no clothes, no home, no one cares. That's right, Stephen. No one cares. Head to traffic police. Do they pool their tips and evenly spread? Malcolm, I have no idea how that part of it, but I've been assured from Chanya that Uncle does not play that game. He's very anti-corruption. That's why he has a senior police, because he's always towed the line and doesn't get involved in all that, street vending of the police force. Not that it really does any street vending. It doesn't even do any sort of on the street beat sort of stuff. He manages the police that do the street beats. Everyone wearing masks in Perth because no one cares. Join the club. Yeah, there we go. Sounded more like a share. What else we got? I might marry the uncle. Yeah, right. He's already married. Sorry. Oh, 60-year-old. Maybe you can have a blue rinse. I need hair first. Blue rinse this lot? No, I can't do that. Mr. Mitch. Hello, as he's saying hello to everybody. G'day, hey Mr. Mitch, how you doing? Good to see you join us. And then I can boss Warren around. Yeah, like that's not going to happen, Stephen. Not going to happen in your lifetime. You're 1 year younger than me. You got to respect your elders, Mr. Monash. Good morning, good morning, Mr. Mitch. I hope you do. Sean Mark, how you doing? Mr. Mitch has settled with blah 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 blah. Neil Yamasita, 62 on the 9th, feeling great. Well, that's good. He's somebody that's older than me. I like that. Andy Stubbs, I'm 65 kilos, 4 over 2 weeks. Yeah, but losing that fast over 2 weeks can mean it can go on very quickly as well. I think just in my case, Andy, I've been doing the walking, so I've been exercising. I've been doing 3 to 5 kilometre walk a day, depending on what we're doing. I've got my heart points up, so I'm regularly sort of meeting my US recommended heart points with brisk walking. And what else is there? That's right, and I cut out junk food. It's working quite well. And I'm eating salads. Traditional Australian salad, which with Italian dressing, lettuce, tomato, beetroot. No, not beetroot. I've got to make the beetroot yet. Lettuce, tomato. You can't get beetroot over here, by the way. If you love your beetroot, you're going to have to pickle it yourself. That's something I still need to do. What else is there? Celery, carrots, onion, capsicum, tossed together with cheese. And then I usually have some sort of high protein like fish or chicken or something like that. And that does me for my evening meal. Does quite nicely. Cody, greetings. You're going to come and join us on the Discord, because it was you that was asking all. We were tossing around some what ifs. Paulo Wazza, what do you eat during the day and lose weight? Well, I have. I've gone back to having a coffee a day, so after my morning walk I'll stop at 7-Eleven and I'll have a proper brewed coffee, with beans, not this instant crap that you get in the packets. That was one of my problems, the fact that drinking so much instant coffee. But I just get them to make the coffee now, so I bring that home. So it's an iced coffee. I'll sit there and maybe I'll have a muffin with that for breakfast. I don't really eat for lunch anyway. I only have 2 things for 2 meals a day, the small meal in the morning, plus a juice, and my evening meal. You don't eat much when you're old. Brisk walking is risky. Why is brisk walking risky, Stephen? Fat James, g'day. At Warren, can you let us know about car insurance? Cost, and do you have it? Also, how do accidents get settled? Okay, it's a good. Well, I can't give you all the car insurance because it's the car insurance is all in the car, but I can give you the example on bike insurance. There, I carry my bike insurance in my little satchel here, and of course the packet's sort of blue, so it's invisible. Yeah, so this is what I normally carry around in my little satchel. I keep copies of my passport in my satchel, right, if anybody asks you for ID. I have this one here, which is the compulsory third party, what we call it in Australia, compulsory third, that's your green slip, but it's like a blue tinge over here. It's got a little barcode, like an official sort of bar thing across the side of it. Can't be forged, supposedly. Holographic, imprinted. Yeah, but that's the what they call the roads, the third party personal injury insurance, like we have in a green slip. That costs 645 baht per year. On top of that, that's also my last 90-day check-in. And holy shit, and I haven't fucking I've got to do it. I forgot about it. I haven't watched that 10th. I didn't go and do my my online check-in. I'm going to do that. I have to do that on Monday. completely forget about it. Yeah, and this is the LMG insurance. So that one there for the motorcycle costs me, I think it's, here it is, 10,200 baht per annum. So, yeah. There's also the what they call the this one here, which is like the certificate, you know, the stamp and everything else that you've got to put on your bike. I haven't ridden the bike, so I haven't put it on. So, but that's anyway. That's how your insurances go with your insurance stuff. Let me put that back in there and get that back in the packet. Yes. I don't know if that answers your questions. The car costs around about the same because it's about the same sort of value for the car. I think it's actually a little bit less. I think motorcycles tend to be a little bit more expensive than. I can't get that back. This is why I don't like taking it out. Bit of a shit to get back in. But yeah. So the bike, because I don't have a glove box for the bike that stays in my satchel. But the stuff for the car stays in the car. Anyway, motorcycle insurance, car insurance, all the same. Hopefully that answers your question. Also, how do accidents get settled? From my understanding, I've never had an accident here, touch wood. But from my understanding is I call the insurance company. Right? Don't talk to anybody, call the insurance company. Right, they will have somebody meet us there, usually within 30 minutes, depending on where you are, and then they will talk and negotiate what went on. Right, don't mention the fact that you have a in-car camera, or if I'm riding as well, I would have my camera on my bike. Say nothing about you've got video evidence. Right, don't say anything to anybody because that can suddenly disappear. I've been told on a few different blogs that has happened to them where they mentioned it and all of a sudden that footage seems to disappear because that implicates the Thai people, and that will happen in some situations, not every time. So the insurance company, they want to make sure that they don't have to pay out because you've got an insurance policy. They will want to see that video evidence as evidence of the fact that it wasn't your fault, and then they will negotiate the whole thing on your behalf. That's what you do. That's how you deal with it. And that's what I've been told, and that's what I'm sticking with. I thought it is often a 50-50 pay deal, regardless of whose fault. No, absolutely not. If you've got video evidence proving the fact that you are the not at fault party, your insurance company does not want to meet the cost. Your insurance company, you have a policy with them. The last thing what an insurance company wants to do is they don't want to be paying out. If you don't have insurance, then usually there's a negotiation between the two parties. Personally, like Thai versus Thai without insurance, it's sort of maybe a 50-50 split. Because you pay for your damage, I'll pay for my damage, and we'll all be good, sort of thing may happen. But insurance companies, they do not want to pay out. So if you can prove with video evidence that it wasn't your fault, then you don't have to pay. I think I was talking. I'm not really talking. I was communicating with one of the guys, one of the Thai vloggers. He had an accident down in Hua Hin where he had the camera in his car. Some truck driver backed his truck into his car. He didn't say anything. He called his insurance company. Right, for the half an hour before the insurance company got there, everybody's pointing the fingers the fact that he drove into the back of the truck. And every Thai was in agreement that it was not the truck driver's fault. Right, he got there. The insurance company got there, he sort of said, oh, I do have video footage to the insurance company. The insurance company looked at the footage and it quite positively showed that the truck backed into him. That's it. Everybody changed their tune in an instant, right? And the truck driver had to pay out. So that's how it goes. But yeah, if you're a foreigner, like they'll pin it on your, basically you're a foreigner in a foreign country. That's it. It's your problem. Okay, moving right along. Hopefully I answered all the questions you needed to go. Yeah. Always an organised ones and get harassed about Murphy's Law. Authorities always put the new guy on Warren's account. Authorities always put the new guy on Warren's account, and you're right, whatever. Don't mention the war. Say nothing on how you have a video on them watching porn. Right, Stephen. Yeah. Too hard, and I'm off to see the uncle. So, does everyone in the insurance company show up to help? No, I believe they have on the road agents, Stephen. So I'm pretty sure that's how it's all dealt with. Anyway, Neil, what's Chanya's secret to looking so great and keeping the weight off with all the great food? Well, Thais have hollow legs, Neil. Come on. I don't know how they eat what they eat. I think the secret must be in somtam, because that stuff there literally cleanses me out when I eat that. I can't eat spicy food anymore. But they eat it all the time. Maybe they just have very high metabolism, so they just burn it off very quickly because their stomach is always working overtime with all the spicy food. But as for her good looks, well, that's called surgery. She loves her little well, apart from the fact that she's got a very very sort of soft complexion, because of the hormones she's taken over the years. That softened her looks and her complexion. She's had eyes done. She's had her cheeks lifted. She's had the dimples put in. What else is there? Of course, she's had breast augmentation and a few other, little enhancements. Plus, she's also very good at makeup, and that's what she does. She does makeup and hair. That's her profession, and she's very good at it. I reckon she should have a YouTube channel, but she doesn't really want to get involved in that. It's too much work for her, and I think she'd have issues with all the trolling as well. It's not in her makeup to deal with negativity, if you know what I mean. Thais tend to steer clear of negativity. That's why you don't find Thais doing well in the YouTube scene, because they can't handle critique, and most time critique might sound like defamation, and they would go to, if somebody critiqued them on YouTube, they would more than likely go down a defamation path to sort of have them brought to justice. But so it's a lot, she just prefer not to have to deal with it. Looking at Paul and Sydney, at Stephen, Monash, I saw your room in Wazza's new house. It looks a bit cramped. I think it's got heaps of room there. We ever get one of those little sofa mat things that the Thai, traditional Thai bedding, that'll fit in there quite nicely. You'll just have to crawl in and out. That's all. But plenty of room. You can put a little sort of one of those little Buddhist little shrines in one corner. He'll be perfectly all right. Don't worry about it. It took 3 hours to insure it. Did it really, Robert? That would be a worry, wouldn't it? Especially if it's hot weather. But it's good to know the fact that sometimes they don't show up in half an hour. I suppose, Robert, was that in Bangkok or was it out in the sticks somewhere? I guess if you're in Sukhothai or somewhere, it might take a bit longer. Yes, Paul. Beggars can't be choosers. Blah blah blah. Looking really now. Considering we will be sharing the space, it's a pretty... sharing this. So you two are going to be sharing the little room under the stairs. Oh dear, fighting over the room under the stairs. Okay. Wazza should buy the new house next door as well for all his guests. I'm not made of money. Come on, guys, give me a break here. Is bigger than me. It's his choice. As long as it's on you. Anyway, what I want to do is Psycho. You did turn up.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay, so we were talking a bit before about Sukhothai, weren't we? So I thought we might try to rehash what we were talking about the other day and give people a bit of an idea. Right, there will be videos about this next month when we do go up there. So what we've got here is a top-down view of Mother's house, and we can even do this. We can even zoom right in. Unfortunately, that's the aerial footage, which is 2021. They haven't had the street view out here since 2014, so things have changed a little bit. So this is this is not Mother's house. This is Mother's father's house, which is the one we stay in when we go to visit. So there we have, like underneath here, that's the general living area. It's underneath the house. It's Bessa block. It's cool, and of course we've got the traditional Thai planked wood house above. It's a couple of bedrooms and a large living area upstairs inside. The kitchen is underneath the house around the back, but that's when we stay, we usually stay in this room up here. What else is there? In this video here, there was actually a little kitchen area. That's where the kitchen, because they hadn't built the kitchen in underneath the house before. This is where all the cooking was done at the front of the house. Now the kitchen's at the back of the house. But yeah, so this is where it is now. One of the plots that we've got, this little area here, which is about I think 3/4 of a rye. That's obviously got commercial. It's got garden in it now, but we've been told we could bulldoze that and put a house here. Just bulldoze it, knock it all down. It's only tobacco drying huts. We could then also, if we go up towards the river, there's the river, but we could also, I think, I'm not quite sure, I think it's this one here, this plot of land here, this section here, it's about 1.5 rye. We've been told we could build on the end of this one here. It's a bit further away from the people. And the third place, if I then sort of squared it up to north-south again, yeah, and although we don't have a street view here, this this section here, which I can't easily give you an indication, that little strip there, it's about 1.5 to 2 rye as well. We've been told we could build on that, so it's again a little bit away from the communal area. I'm keen to actually put the house in the communal area, where all the housing is, so we don't actually take up any farming land, if you know what I mean. The inconvenience obviously of the person that's actually got a shack on there at the moment, we'll have to deal with that when that's family matters that get sorted out in family. I don't have to have any say so. So let's see some wrong. Well, that's the farming area. Well, that's our that whole area here is Chanya's family, and they've lived there pretty much all their life. And of course the land gets divided up between each generation. You know how it works, generation to generation they divide the land up. Sesamrong is just here, and this is the main street of Sesamrong when we come in. Right, and this is we've probably seen this in a couple of videos, the 7-Eleven there. Lots of bicycles. We've got we've got, this is probably where she would try to get a location for the salon. Not quite sure. We haven't been up there to sort of, that looks like a house set up. We'd have to just sort of see what's available in the rental market and sort of rent one for the salon. As for housing, we don't quite know yet. And And so that's what the exploration will be for up there when we get there in 4 weeks' time. We've also got the main road. That's the main road. 3 lanes each way going in and out of Sukhothai. Oh, you see I'm wrong. That road goes down to Sukhothai, which is just down here. I think it's just down here. Just down here. Historical. Oh, there. Sukhothai itself is here. I'm pretty sure she doesn't want to put a. She'd have more clientele if she put the house, put the what do you call it, the salon in Sukhothai, but it's a good 20-kilometre drive. So if we do sort of measure distance from here to Sukhothai, say there, that's they're sort of saying 17 kilometres as the crow flies. So that's a good, 22, 23 kilometres on the road. And during morning and night time, that's a 45-minute trip every day to open and close a salon. She probably wouldn't want to do that. Whereas, going from the house and directions from there to starting location, say here. There's 2 ways to go, 2 options. So that's walking. We don't want to walk, we want to go by car. Says, well, there is an alternate route along the river, but we'd probably prefer to that. 6 minutes by car, 5-kilometre car or motorcycle. So there's not too much of a challenge for her morning and night. We'll have the motorcycles. That's a quick motorcycle ride. Depending on exactly where the salon would be set up, that's another matter altogether. All this sort of stuff we're going to investigate when we're there. We've got access to 3BB fibre, so that'll be one of the first things we'll be putting in for the house build. As soon as we can move in, fibre goes in, so I will have my internet. In the meantime, we've got to make sure we sort of, the rental we get has internet as well. So, effectively we'll put fibre into the rental. We'll probably take a 6 to 12 months lease on a rental somewhere while we build the house. And what we'll be doing there, we'll be paying as we go. So there'll be paying for the surveying, paying for building up that land, because as I said, we are on the river here. If we look at I didn't do that very well, did I? Let me get that river view again here. Yes, this river here, that's got water in at the moment. Most of the time that river's fairly dry. That's probably winter. I don't know. Well, that's February 2014. It's about this time of the year. That's the level of the river in February. This river has broken its banks a few times in the course of the last 30 years. I think we've had 3 major floods in Sukhothai. They keep on patching it and making it better. The last lot of flooding we had this year didn't affect Sukhothai. There was no overflow this year. So they're doing a pretty good job, but the water levels didn't really get too serious. But yeah, when you start to look at most of the houses down here are on stilts because things flood. Yeah, I would want to make sure that we build like this one here and get a good build up of dirt, so the fact that the cars and the bikes don't suffer. And I'm looking at that upside down again. You can get locked in for a few days as well. But this area here, we don't grow rice in this area. We grow, and can anybody else, apart from Psycho, because he knows, who knows what crop that, I think I've already mentioned, what crop that is. Do you know what crop that is? Just checking the feed just to let you know. The pubs are now open in Perth. Yeah, well, I'm not going to fly to Perth. Yeah, pubs are essential. Making sure there's no questions directed at me. Sorry, late reply. Was hoping making pad thai. Okay, later peeps. Looks like Andy's off. See you later, Andy. Ryan is 60 now, so there's a chance he may lose concentration now and then. Anyway, trying to talk about something and read the chat at the same time. I don't have 4 sets of eyes. Dalo, 420 kilometres from Bangkok going north, is the old capital of Thailand. Yes, well, we're talking, that's Sukhothai, yeah. We've gone to Sukhothai over the last 12 years. I think we've been up there 6 times now. Still haven't been to the ancient site there. And you know, it's not like it's it's far away. It's there. We regularly sort of do our trips into Sukhothai. There's something specialist there. So the Holy Heart Temple here, which is an attraction in that big lake. That's another sort of sightseeing tour. Then there's the historical park here in Sukhothai. Never bothered going. When we went to Tak the other day, we went this way. We turned right and completely bypassed it the last time we were up there to go to Tak to go and do. I think there was we had a wedding to go to up in Tak. But yeah, we missed the park altogether. Yeah, I do intend to at some stage go and do a bike trip out there and do a couple of visits to the historical park, do a bit of historical touring of Sukhothai area. There's some interesting attractions. There's also a nice little mountain range here, but there's no motorcycle, or not that I can see. There's no motorcycle road pathing to go through here. Looks like we have got a road here, which might be a good motorcycle ride. It's very hard to tell. Can't tell whether it's dirt. It's not giving me any sort of anything to ride on, but there might be some interesting motorcycle rides around the area. So we might be able to do a bit more motorcycle touring. The good thing about Sukhothai, it's a day trip to Chiang Rai. It's a day trip to Chiang Mai. There's Chiang Mai. It's a day trip to Prey. It's a day trip to Nan, Pitsanulok, Liao, and almost even maybe a day trip to Ubon. I've got a few people we know over there, so we might get a bit of run around, get a bit of sightseeing done, check out the northern areas. So that could be coming to a change to the channel, rather than city life. We would talk about living in the northern reaches of Thailand. Change of direction. Warren Riley, sorry if I missed your expectation. Are you leaving Bangkok to move north? Well, if we don't get approved for the bank loan, and the fallback option we've got now is moving to Sukhothai. And again, there still may be more to it than that. Chanya, depending on how things go next month and how the discussions with Uncle go and all that other sort of stuff, right, there may be a complete ditching of the whole living in Bangkok idea, because right now I saw something she posted on her Facebook the other day where she's actually giving it some serious consideration. Now, when I say serious consideration, that's more serious than the last 5 times we talked about it, if you know what I mean. There's always this progressive, want to get back to, that life. It's mother's family, father's family is Bangkok born, Bangkok bred. Of course, mother makes money in Bangkok. She always comes down here. That's how we always sort of said, come and live with us, because she was always coming to Bangkok for 6 months, rent some place to make some money, and then she'd go back to the farm for 6 months of the year. When it was off season, she'd go back to the farm and she'd come back and she'd bounce backwards and forwards. When I sort of said she could live with us, right, that changed the dynamics where she started to live permanently in Bangkok. But mother likes the family and she's always running off to Sukhothai every couple of months to take care of family business and all that sort of stuff. Being the eldest child, and eldest child responsibility is to look after your parents, and she still does have one parent up there, although the rest of the family does take care of the elders. She has a responsibility, being the eldest daughter, to take care of the responsibility as well. So she does. She bounces back for 3 to 4 days at a time, takes care of all the stuff that needs to take care of, and this is Thai life. This is how it works. People don't really realise this is how Thai life really happens. But yeah, so the very chance, the fact that she might sort of say, no, I would prefer to build my own house for $1.5 million, have no bank loan, live with family and have the good life, run a salon, make money doing hair. Warren can do his YouTube thing. Warren can help out with the tobacco crops. Well, maybe I would, I don't know. No, I'm not going to start smoking tobacco again, but helping out with the tobacco crops. When it comes to crop season, I don't mind pitching in and helping out. I don't expect to get paid for it, but I don't think anybody gets paid anyway. That's the commercial crop that brings funds into the family unit, where it's a big pooled resource of money that things get done for family. You get used to that when you start to live on a farming community like that. And again, the commercial crop we grow there is tobacco, if you hadn't already worked it out. We also grow other things there, but the tobacco is a seasonal crop. It's not a bi-seasonal, so they would probably run tobacco as the main crop, and then there's a second growing season throughout the year where they can throw rice down, which brings supplementary income in. But a lot of times I've been up there, I've seen cabbage, I've seen other vegetable crops growing there, because tobacco really leaches the soil for nitrogen. So you've got to obviously crop rotations. You've got to do heavy crop rotation when you do tobacco farming, because the amount of leaching of the nitrates in the soil is very, very heavy, and if you don't do proper crop rotation, the whole place just dies. So there's a varied amount of crops. If you didn't, okay, no, I'm not a farmer, but I do know my science. Yeah. I had pretty good crops when I was growing stuff at home in amongst my cannabis little plantation there. You had to grow other crops. You had to grow tomatoes and other things in amongst the cannabis plants, because Australia has helicopters that fly over with special little cameras that detect your crop. Enough of that sort of discussion. Anyway, so that's where we're looking like going, and the eventual move to Sukhothai could also happen long term anyway. And we aren't committed. There's only it only costs us 3,000 baht to bail out of the commitment we've made for the house here in Thailand, in Nakhon Pathom there. If she chooses not to go ahead, like if she wants to go ahead with a Sukhothai option, right, we would move there and we would just say, sorry, we're moving to Sukhothai and we're not going to be in Bangkok anymore. Why are we going to do that? Well, Chanya is really quite paranoid about the whole COVID-19 thing. And it does worry her quite considerably, and probably the main thing she worries about is just that issue. And she says it's going to be another 12 months before things sort of get back to normal, and she wants to be in a place where there is no COVID. Right. Okay, there's no COVID here as well, but we're only sort of 10 kilometres from Samut Sakhon. We're only 15 kilometres from Bangkok. She's worried. I don't know why she's worried. She's a healthy 36-year-old, going on 37, or going on 27. And I'm pretty sure that she would have absolutely no problems if she did catch it. I definitely don't worry about it, but it does play on her mind, plays on her mind for her mother as well. And if she moved to Sukhothai, mother would move to Sukhothai as well. So again, that's again, family comes first, as opposed to dealing with other shit like we're in Bangkok in suburbia. What does Chanya have to give up? Chanya would give up contact with her community. That's the transgender community. So that's the only thing that weighs heavily on her heart. But with current technology, every one of her girlfriends that she hangs out with and plays poker with on her Tuesday night, which she hasn't done for the last 2 months because the COVID situation. So she's gone 2 months without that contact. She does go and see Nook Yung every so often, like Nook Yung did her hair. That's another the hairdresser crowd. So yeah, that's what's going on in our lifestyle at the moment. Which obviously, this is the whole luxury living in Thailand is smile, luxury living. Well, I've got some articles we're going to go into as well for the second hour. We're just wrapping up the first hour. But yes, that's giving a bit of a wrap up of what's going on in our life right now and giving a bit more of an explanation, because I realised the video that I did that came out yesterday was a bit on point and not really much discussion, not giving the whys and wherefores and giving the backstory of what's going on. So hopefully for the people who really follow the channel, which is the live stream followers, and obviously the live stream followers, we get twice as many views after the live stream as we do during the live stream. So people do watch our live streams post live, and try to fill it full of information so that they've got something to listen to. I think that's our main object. Anyway, what have I missed on this thread? Robert Groves, we often go to Tukfar where my wife's brother lives. Okay. They never see tourists. So you're still talking about your own thing. Any questions towards me? Who's been watching the local chat? I have a picture of myself. I lost my marker, of course. Is north of Thailand. It's too far to travel and make a long working day. I saw that. Tobacco, yes. Who was the first person to get tobacco? It looks like Mr. Mitch was tobacco. Mr. Rich, what can I do about sending Mr. Mitch a prize for guessing what crop that was? It looks like the in-laws village, yes. You've got a similar situation for yourself, Mark. Yes, Sean, yeah. I really can't get used to that. Last name, first name, and Sean, yeah. Sukhothai is a nice place. I do like it. It gets a little bit warm during March through to end of May, through to June. It does get on the warm side. I've been up there one time during Songkran, and it was what I would consider to be uncomfortably warm because there's no air conditioning on the farm. And basically from about maybe 11 o'clock in the morning till about 5 o'clock in the evening, we just lie around in the hammocks and just sleep. That's your day, because there's not much to do apart from obviously crop season. People just lounge around all day and drink moonshine. Drink Laokao. That's the Thai version of moonshine. Very, very sweet stuff to drink. I'm pretty sure if you're drunk enough, it'll send you blind. It's wood alcohol with flavouring, with wood alcohol with rice flavouring. So it's a little bit, it has a sweetness to it, which is quite endearing after your first shot. It's one of those sort of tastes that you go, and it's like having your brain smashed out with a slice of lemon wrapped around a large gold brick. It could very, 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 very well pass off as a good replacement for the pan-galactic gargle blaster. The effect of which is like having your brain smashed out with a slice of lemon wrapped around a large gold brick. But yeah, so that's Sukhothai moonshine. It's locally made, locally brewed. I have never seen the still, but it actually comes in plastic bags. You don't actually buy it in a bottle, you buy it in a plastic bag. I will try to get more of this lifestyle stuff in the next set of videos, because I think people really are interested in it, as that whole complete, city life, country life sort of crossover thing. Neil, yes, I'm doing great for my age. She wants me to go and get Botox. I know Johnny, something happened and he did Botox a couple of years ago. I don't know. I don't think I could. Could I go and do the Botox thing really? just for vanity. I have got a YouTube channel. Maybe I should start wearing foundation and putting makeup on just to I'm a YouTube celebrity in my own lunchtime. What else have we got? What else have I missed? Sorry, I missed the expectations, leaving back. I think we answered that one. Nice province, not too many visits that tend to go. Not nice province, not. Where's that one? Okay, so this is Joe Roberts' province. So, great many places to visit. I have a picture of myself at a cop in Sukhothai 30 years ago. Nothing like contacts. He should be a general by now. Really? So you know somebody up there. So when you come to visit us in Sukhothai, if that ever happens, Stephen, you've got somebody who can get you out of jail, not only me. Is that right? Big up, Wazza. Hope it's all good. Yes, we're doing. Well, John, how you doing? Stoned every day, tobacco and poppies. No, we don't actually have poppies up there, but I'm pretty sure there's some locally grown ganja, because a couple of the guys there seem to always have it. And I have partaken in a bit of a spliff myself when I've been up there. It really helps. You take it late at night so you can sleep. So they're using a Satvia version, which is the one that which helps you sleep at night, because again, no air conditioning, and you need something to really put you off. So have a spliff, a couple of shots of the Sukhothai moonshine, and then maybe a bit of karaoke, and then you crash on the floor, or you make your way to bed and sleep it off, and have a headache the next morning. We are it's embarrassed. Okay, we have been through the province, never stayed there. Okay, William, it's great to get out and spend some time in a little villages and get to see the real Thai life. Yeah, well, hopefully we'll be able to do a bit more of that running around. I unfortunately sort of like I'm used to the Bangkok dialect of Thai, as I do hear more than I speak the Thai, but even to this day I still have difficulty understanding what Mother says. I can understand what Chanya says, but I can't understand what Mother says. And when I go to Sukhothai, oh my God, I struggle, because it's like Hicksville. They speak redneck. It's a bit hard to get used to. What else we got? No questions. No questions for us. Yes, no questions for me. Talk about yourself. Okay, moving right along. So yeah, well, I did have some other. I've got some articles here which I thought we might go and spend the second hour on. So what have we got? Come across these articles so we can give us a bit of a talking piece. And the first one: luxury living in land of smiles. for years. Its warm climate, the inexpensive cost of living and laid-back lifestyle in Thailand have attracted tourists and expats from around the world for both short-term and long-term stays. Some of the world's most beautiful beaches are located in the south of the country, from bustling seaside resorts of Koh Samui and Pattaya. Well, I don't know the seaside resorts are seaside, but you wouldn't want to swim in the water at Pattaya. To more tranquil islands like Phi Phi and Lanta. There is something for everybody who dreams of retirement in the tropics. Some expats.
Wait. They're calling PP tranquil.
Well,
I take issue with that.
Again, I can't see when the article was written. When people write blog articles, they should say when they wrote them, you know. There's nothing here on this blog article that actually gives you an indication of when the article was written. I find that really, really sort of slack of people, you know. Come on, if you're going to do a blog, do it properly. Blogs need to be date specific. Anyway, some experts prefer. I'm sharing my screen here. Some experts prefer to live in the smaller villages that dot the coastlines on both sides of the country, where the accommodation costs much less. That's of course one of the good things about the Sukhothai option. My monthly expenditure will drop by half once we build the house. So on a long term, my retirement income, my investments and everything else will actually see me a lot further than what they currently foresee, and I could probably sort of take a little bit less risk portfolio on my investments, so that, you know, I'm not trying to grow it as fast, because I know it's going to cost a third of what it costs to live here in Bangkok. I may still do trips down to Bangkok once every couple of months to catch up with some friends. Take a bus down to Bangkok. I think how much the bus from Sukhothai to Bangkok cost? I had no idea. I'm going to have to investigate these costs as well. You know, but yeah, take a bus trip, because I know Mother takes the bus from here to Sukhothai when she goes to Sukhothai, and the bus station is just up the road from us here. Well, around the corner and down a couple of streets, is about 5 kilometres away. But yeah, so we could, I could bus it backwards and forwards, or I can get a bus from Sukhothai into Ekamai. I think that's the main bus station in Bangkok, which is only one BTS stop away from Jerry and the main expat crowd I hang out with. It's only 2 BTS stops or 3 BTS stops away from Asok there, where we've got the red light district, and Susie. I'm going to miss Susie as well, moving up there, but coming down every couple of months, that'd be sort of something that I could definitely sort of budget for. But it definitely would mean the fact that once I've put down the 1.5 million baht for the house build, there's really the only outgoing we've got is food and internet costs. The internet costs will be the same, which is 750 baht a month, and food. It might, like a bowl of kalpat mu here, it might cost you 40 baht. It costs you like 20 baht in Sukhothai. That's the difference, It's half the cost of your food, And of course, there will be less grab food. There'll be less pizza. There'll be less McDonald's. There'll be less less Western food. There'll be more Thai food. So, effectively, that's, when it comes to my food budget, 2/3 of my food costs are Westernized food, like pizza and KFC and burgers. You get the idea. So you're going to at least halve the cost of your food out. And of course, there'll be less runs into the Bangkok. Even now, I'm saving money because of the COVID issue. I haven't been doing my Friday trips into Bangkok. I haven't been going visiting Susie. So, I've been sort of, apart from the cost of the house and rental here, I've been living on 20,000 baht a month, and that's between me and Chanya, right? Because we haven't been doing anything. So effectively, we're going to probably halve that outgoing cost to probably 10,000 baht a month after the house cost is done. So it's $1.5 million down on the house. I won't have to worry about a mortgage. I'm fairly secure and confident in my personal relationship. I love Chanya to death. Probably, when it comes to Thai lifestyle, maybe I'm too in her face in some sort of, in some Thai perspective, because we're always together, we're always holding hands together, we're always going out for these little luncheon dates, and of course that's one thing that will probably diminish is our luncheon dates, and we still may do them, but the thing is they'll be completely different. They'll be sort of stopping off at coffee places around, within a 10-kilometre radius of the house, that sort of thing. But we'll still do our Wednesday, lunching, because that's her day off, and that's what we do. But getting onto luxury living, well, I'm going completely the opposite to luxury living. Having a nice house here in Thailand, here, like in suburbia, one could sort of consider that luxury living. Luxury living again is, it's in each person's makeup, what people want to do. Like if you had, 2 million US in the bank, from investments or something, you could live a very luxurious lifestyle here in Thailand for 20 to 30 years. Buy yourself a condo, close to the city, which is what Psycho's been talking about, haven't you? That's what we've been talking about most recently, haven't we, Psycho?
Oh, sorry, I was AFK a second.
You've been talking about coming to live here. I think you're only probably 2 months away before you make the move.
I would say it's probably more like 4 months.
Yeah. So you're going through the process. Give us a bit of background. So you're currently going through the process of selling out.
Yeah, it's slightly complicated because I've got friends in there that are going through a divorce, and I'm kind of waiting that out rather than trying to give one of them the stick. Just being patient for the carrot. And then my plan is to get some sort of visa. There's a few options. There's the expensive option, but that might be the case because I'm, spry and young and not going to qualify for retirement. But
it's only 100,000 a year. It's only 100,000. It's only 100,000 baht a year.
No, they bumped it up. It's 600,000 now.
Is it?
For the 5 year.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, so it's 120,000. So to stay here, it's $4,000 US per annum.
It's basically I sell my Toyota Tundra and then get that visa is basically what it's looking like. And then rent a place in Bangkok because I don't want to buy anything until I know what the area is like all year long.
Right. Yeah. So you're looking at Bangkok as a destination.
Yeah, I really like it. I've lived most of my life in rural communities, and Bangkok's the first city that I actually like. So, yeah, I'm up for a change. Explore, do new things.
And again, it's the same
See
with
the
me.
world in a new way.
This is the thing. So most people don't know my family background. My father had 3 brothers and 1 sister. My father being the eldest, he was also he was the smart one. He was the one that got a career in electronic engineering. Whereas the other 3 brothers and his sister, they all went into farming. And so my family, from my father's side, have a farming background, and they still are living in a farming lifestyle in Australia. I think 2 of them in Narrabri, one's out west of Orange, what's west of Orange? Not Narrabri, that's I can't remember the place, but yeah, it's out that way. Darrigan, I think one of my cousins is in Darrigan. So they've all gone for this farming lifestyle. My father was the only city dweller. And he married, obviously, a city dweller and chose to have the city life. Well, we were suburbia, but, he commuted to the city every day. So I looked at farming and I go, who would want to do that? They don't make any money. that's farming life, you know. How do you make a fortune in farming? How do you make a small fortune in farming? You start with a big fortune. Well, that was the way I always looked for me, and that's always been my preconceived idea of farming. So it's never interested me. So here we have you're coming from a rural setting going into the city because you've never done it before, and I'm a city dweller now looking at the option of going and living in a rural setting, like my forefathers, which I think.
Tell you what, you get, you've got less money, but the freedom of space and time when you're in the rural setting.
Yeah, and we can drive the roads till a house content up there without a helmet on, right? Stuff you people who have an issue with it, right? And if the police pull me over, well, sorry, my uncle's your boss. Shut up.
I mean, if it only hurts you, who cares?
I've been riding for 40 years, and I've never had one accident. Come on, I had one accident in the car. I've dropped my bike 4 times in that, I've dropped the bike 4 times. And I've been thankful for having a helmet on in those 4 droppages. Because, skating along a wet road on your ass and on your feet, right, is not a pleasant thing for anybody. Then pick the bike up, but, I've never actually fallen on my head. But, I've been thankful for having the helmet on, but I would still ride with the helmet, long trips, but short runs up to see some wrong, 5 kilometres on a scooter. I'm not going to worry about putting a helmet on. Fuck that shit. Give me a break. And running around the local community, no, stuff that idea. Nobody does. You'll be the odd one out. You look like an idiot. It's all image. Thailand's image. But yes, go on.
Yeah, you're big enough and mean enough to, make decisions on your own. I don't think that any other authority should, make decisions that only protect you from yourself.
Yeah. We quite often go into that discussion, don't we, Psycho? We had a big discussion about it yesterday. What the hell was that?
I get a little ranty on that.
Yeah. What was Davey doing there? What was that, Davey?
That was a Harley just going past.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
It sounded like it was in your bathroom.
No. I'm down at the beach and I'm just crossing the road and it was a Harley.
Oh yeah. So what was I saying? So we were having a bit of a heated discussion about that yesterday on Psycho's Discord channel, talking about the general freedoms. We were going into the whole. I think one of your friends there he's sort of into the. Well, what about the medical costs? This, that, and the other. Going, well, seriously.
No, it's one of those things where people talk about Thailand that have never been to Thailand before. So you have zero experience in one area, and you want to try and make a comparison and contrast, and you can't because
you've never been there.
You don't know. You're talking about stuff you have you can read about it, but that's based off of that person's experience that you're reading on. So again, you don't know unless you go. You're essentially, as much as reading is a good thing, you're still, in a way, you're still letting people think a little bit before, for you, and you're depending on how they see things to get your information. The best way to get your own information is to do it firsthand.
Yeah, and of course, if you're going to use Thai Visa, the blog site or the forum, if you're going to use the forum Thai Visa or a couple of the Facebook groups like Bangkok Expats on Facebook, or if you're going to use those as your source of income, not source of knowledge base, you are doing yourself a disservice, guys, right? Because 90% of those people have never been to Thailand, or they've been to Thailand and have been kicked out because of their nefarious activities, right? And all they want to do is badmouth Thailand because, they're not allowed back.
There's some random nuggets of decent information on there. Yeah. It's not all bad, but yeah, it's like you've got a lot of people that have just kind of been tainted on the subject that are then pissed off.
The stuff I've read on Thai, I don't spend my time on Thai, but I read their news. I'm on their news feed, so I get to do what's the latest happening today in Thailand. So I get the top stories, but I also get the top stories on my Facebook as well through the Tiger, right? So I get the top stories. I know what's going on, but I very rarely go into Thai Visa to read any of the stories or read what the comments are. But when I do pick up one of the stories, you just got to, just for 1 second, let me just give you an example from, this is what you're going to deal with, we'll pick on a few people. Okay, let's go to my news.
Mark Bandu.
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked. Thai Visa is a reputable news service.
Right, but yeah, it's all right. So, okay. So if I I get this in my email every day, right? So there's my Thai Visa feed. This is the deep. So the article. Let's go back one. So that's the news feed every day. They're probably 2 or 3 articles a day. DPM confirms Thais will start receiving vaccinations, blah, blah, blah. So, okay. In June at a rate of 5 million doses per month. Police bust online gambling. So that's the 2 hot stories, right? So you go in here and you go and read the top story, right? And you go, okay, so it's got, that's the top story. The government has confirmed that Thai people will begin receiving COVID-19 vaccinations in June at a rate of 5 million doses per month using shots of from Siam Bioscience, which is the one that's being produced locally here, which was transferred production technology from AstraZeneca and is poised to be a production base for ASEAN. Right, so we've got the production rights for the whole Asian nation for this particular what do you call it? Somebody's making coffee there. It sounds like it. Anyway, Deputy Prime Minister blah blah. Anyway, it goes on to discuss the article. It gives the news source where the article is, and then of course it hears all the bullshit. Right, everybody with their 2 cents. It was corrupt border officials' fault. Passing on the. What do you know? Thai Rat, right? That's all he is. Thai Rat, platinum member. He's made 36,000 posts. This guy lives on Thai Visa. He's got nothing good to say about it. This guy here, 5 million a month, right? Logistics. It's all this naysayer. It's just a bunch of hard to do, hard done by people. All they want to do is rant all day. Mango Bob, 6,000 posts. It should be 1 million a day. Yeah, okay, maybe it should be. But if you go to Thai Visa for any year, you basically, you're doing yourself a disservice, guys. This is bullshit, right?
Mark, I'm with you. I like the Tiger.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. I like their segments where they actually talk to Thais too about different socio things and.
Yeah, that beer's a little hottie.
Everybody's a fan of beer.
Yeah, the Tiger's got a good news service. You can, if you're on Facebook, you can tag Facebook. Unfortunately, they've been kicked off Twitter for some reason, so you can't follow them on Twitter. Their Twitter account is basically shut down, can't suspended for breaking some rules. But you can follow them on Facebook. Follow them, and that'll if you go and put it on like, and then you can sort of say you can actually sort of you can once you like it, you can say how much you like it, and if you want it on there on your feed all the time. Follow settings. So when you sort of so choose how you want to sort of say favourites. So choose it as a favourite news feed or default. So when it, this is where I don't know if you know how to use Facebook. This is how you monitor your posts. Snooze, so stop seeing posts from that page. Default, which is Facebook's default. Probably you'll see one post every 10, depending on how Facebook want you to see it, or you can make it a favourite. And if you do it this way here, you'll get every post, right? So, you know, it goes in your feed, right? If you want the daily news, which is how I have it set up. But again, people don't know how to use Facebook. You know, should I do lessons on how to use Facebook? But yeah, they do a good news service. It's fairly well presented. You know, latest news, latest stories. If you go to news, Thailand, you get the 8 minutes ago, Siberian tiger recaptured after escaping from a cage in western Thailand. Ooh, that's western Thailand. That would be Trat, would it? Anyway, it's been recaptured. British man arrested in Koh Samui for meth-fueled shooting rampage. Yeah, whatever. Looks like a typical manga. Tourism minister to request 5 million vaccine doses. Yeah, so you get a pretty good feed. It's pretty good. You know, keeps you keeps you in the know of what's going on here in Thailand. And out of all the news services, most of these articles are rehashed from other sources, which again, if you know about the laws of plagiarism, well, again, it requires the other party to start some sort of litigation. But at the moment, they've been got off pretty scot-free about. Most of these articles are from a different source. This one here, source Nation Thailand. Maybe they have an agreement with Nation Thailand to redistribute. I don't know. Nation Thailand, so that's Nation Thailand for that one. That was source Daily Mail. So they've probably gone around and they've sort of said, can we redo or rehash your articles? Because I would think the copyright viral press, where they get their imaging from, so on and so forth. Plagiarism is still a thing here in Thailand. It's probably not heavily pursued in the courts, but if I was to start doing that and start, republishing that on my blog, somebody would probably go to town on me, because there is pretty serious plagiarism rules. I know Tokyo Drew, what do you call him? Just Drew now. I think his channel's been changed to. Totally Drew. His website, when he set his up, he started putting a news feed in from 2 or 3 news sources, and then one of those news sources sent him a cease and desist order, or he'll be found in court, so he had to pull it all down. But that's Tokyo. Litigation is very, very heavy in Japan, whereas it's litigation over here. It's more common law practice. Who are you hurting? As opposed to, well, you're stealing my copy. Stealing copy is not hurting anybody really. So it doesn't get pursued. This is sort of the.
Would you download a car?
Download a car.
Yeah, would you steal a car? Would you steal this movie? I still remember going to the movie theaters with those.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, if I could copy the car and then paste it, yes, I would, because it doesn't matter at that point. Like, you've replicated a car.
I got a friend of mine in Australia. He's gone into 3D printing, right? He's now got 3 3D printing machines. Right, and he does he's doing a whole lot of Star Wars, the what's that, the mini, what's that, the mini Yoda, whatever.
Figurines.
Yeah,
Baby Yoda.
Like Baby Yoda,
Mandalorian
stuff and things like that, and he's now selling that on eBay, and right within 2 days of mentioning the fact that he's opened his eBay store, he's being trolled by people on Facebook. Do you have a license to do that? And quite frankly, he does. Right? He's for all the stuff he's been producing, he has got written permission from the people who produced the blueprint to go into the machine to actually do that copy. Right, so he has got written permission to use that and sell those.
These are just like all the people that when they were children, they were like, oh, the teacher says that these are the rules. Everybody better follow them.
Yeah.
You better follow them. And they grow up just wanting some sort of authority. And they're so desperate for it that they've got to troll people for it. It's like, come on.
I remember doing my apprenticeship, I was something, one of the comments that was made, was the fact that do you want to be a button pusher all your life, or do you want to be the person who designs the button pushing machines, right? Your choice. But 90% of the population, they just want to be button pushers, right?
It's risk. It's all about risk.
They just...
There's...
We need a culling.
There's no risk in being a button pusher. Somebody's made the button for you to push.
Yeah.
If you're the person who designs the button pushing machine, you have to take that amount of risk to actually, go out there, put your money into making a machine that pushes buttons.
Running a YouTube channel, I found a whole new set of buttons that were on me that I had to get used to, because people find things to push your buttons. Things that sort of, get on your craw, things that upset you. I got out in front of the whole LGBT and transgender issue when I first started the channel, I wasn't going to have anybody troll me for that because I quite freely support transgender rights. They are human beings and they should have exactly the same rights as everybody else. Of course, where the limit would go there is I don't believe that the public health system should pay for your gender reassignment. You want gender reassignment? Pay for it yourself, because, quite frankly, I see that happening in Australia. The transgender community in Australia seem to think that their health insurance, their public health insurance, which is part of your taxation system, should pay for your gender reassignment, and they get all up in arms because they can't claim it. Well, wake up and smell the roses, you people. You want to change your sex, that's all well and good. I quite support you for that. But I don't expect the other people to pay for it. Wake up and smell the roses. But yeah, transgender rights is one of the things I quite freely support, for as long as you're not hurting somebody else. You should be free to be who you want to be. I identify with a 40-year-old, That's it. I find it amusing that I'm a trans something or other. I identify as 40 years old. What would you call that?
Transageist? Transage? I'm not sure on that.
Trans chronologist or something like that. I don't know. Yes, there you go. I identify as 40. I want to be treated as a 40-year-old. But I still want to leverage my over 50 visa. That's what it gets like, isn't it? I identify as 40, but I want the privilege of having a visa, which means you need to be over 50. Work that one out. But that's what it's like over there, and that's what it's like everywhere in the world. They want to have their cake and eat it too. Just deal with this shit, guys. But yeah, I'm not really talking about the luxury side of being in Thailand, am I? But yeah. What else have I listened to count? When I grew up, National Geographic was our porn. I remember seeing some of those tribal pictures from National Geographic in my 60s. I think my father has a subscription to National Geographic as well. Oh, mate, they have tits in them. Anyway, you guys, you're not asking me anything. I don't think there's any questions being thrown my way, have there?
Not that I've noticed.
Not that I've been. No. I keep an eye on it as we talk. But yes, getting back to so where in Thailand should you live? Northern Thailand, geographically characterised by several mountain ranges, which continue from Myanmar to the West Laos. In the northeast, it is relatively high elevation and latitude, contribute to more pronounced seasonal temperature variation. Yeah, so in the cool season, you can get down to a little bit above zero in some places. So you have a bigger seasonal variation with cooler winters Historically, it is related to the ancient Lana Kingdom and its history, culture, and district and cuisine. You know, the tribal ties that have the rings around their necks and things like that. I think you're familiar with the Lana Kingdom. The provinces of Mae Song, Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai fall within the North region. And I do, hopefully, if we get to stay in Sukhothai, that will be sort of the content I'll be sort of focusing on. I will do rides around. I want to go and see this for myself. I want to see this stuff, and try to deal with it with a lack of the language. Unlike was it Harold Balder? He used, when his channel did a lot of Thai vlogging and running around. He did a lot of that stuff up north, but he could also speak Thai quite fluently. I was quite taken back by how much he could speak Thai. And he could walk into 7-Eleven or local shops and get what he wanted and fill his tank up. Like, I've been out to some places where I've had to fill fuel from a 44-gallon drum with a pump action device on it. You know, you get out there. That's what it's like out in the north. But yeah, sort of, to me, that's living. That's bike riding. But trying to do it with a translation device, that's going to be fun. Northeastern Thailand. Go on.
Yeah, especially if you are in internet or a cell phone hole or something.
Yeah, so that's going to be one of the challenges I have to deal with, making sure I go somewhere that has cell phone coverage so that my translation app will work.
Just live. Yeah, you'll figure it out. You guys have hand signals, you know. I can speak Thai, but the Thais cannot understand it. Yeah, that sounds like about.
Yeah, that's how it sounds. Yes. I can see the argument. Right? If that was to be covered, then boob jobs and nose jobs or hair transplants would then be included, and nobody could afford insurance. Yeah, that's exactly right. So you got to draw the line with. I support. They should be treated as equal human beings. We're all human beings, right? But don't expect somebody else to pay for your nose job. That's where you have to draw the line. Okay, I pay for Chanya's nose job. She's my girl. I like her to feel beautiful. That's why we have such a great great relationship, because she gets what she wants. To be beautiful, to be the eye candy of my life, and I love it. Love it to bits.
Yeah, she has somebody that appreciates it.
And I'm pretty sure the people who come to our channel also appreciate it. so there you go. What else we got? Yes, the northeastern Thailand. This region is often referred to Isan. Covers a fairly large area, and is about half the size of Germany. Phetchabun Mountains denotes the western boundary. So Phetchabun, that's this mountain range here. So you got this border comes down here in this line. So you might imagine the line going all the way down there to Bangkok. Basically, this is Chiang Mai Nan area. Picture look. But over this side here, this mountain range going east, this is what they're talking about here, is northeastern Thailand, or Isan. Denotes western boundaries. With the Karat Plateau considering with the natural limits of Isan. The Mekong River marks the northeastern borders, right, so on and so forth. I wouldn't really classify that area as being luxury living though, but gives you an idea. A lot of people I know find themselves in northeastern Isan in Thailand. I don't know what it is. I've never been drawn to Isan in any way, shape or form. Okay, we eat Isan food every so often, but that's as far as it goes. But to actually go there, I've not seen what the attraction is. The attraction for northern Thailand is obviously the mountain area. Central Thailand. This covers the broad alluvial plain of Chao Phraya River, This separates the northeastern Thailand, started with by Petrapon Mountains, the terrestrial hills, and separate from Myanmar to the west. Is separate from the Gulf of Thailand just below. Right, this area is the heartland of ancient Siam, right, and basically it's considered to be central Thailand is like this area, right, where up to Pitsanulok from the Thailand thing here, right. This basin here pretty much is what they call central. easy access to Bangkok, and it's the major growing area. Eastern Thailand, this region of Thailand bordering Cambodia on the east, and northeastern Thailand, central Thailand west influences of the ancient Khmer kingdom can be found within this region. The region also borders the Gulf of Thailand to the south and west. Pattaya is one of its most visited international tourist destinations. Sits within the region. Islands off the eastern Thailand include Koh Krang, Koh Lan, Koh Samet and Koh Chang. So that's what they're talking about in that particular area. I think Pratchaburi is probably the northern sector, goes all the way down to this area. That's what they call that eastern region. A lot of businessmen moving in this area because there's a what they call a corridor, or a what they call a commercial corridor they're trying to develop all along the coast here. So it's starting to really become a commercial enterprise, and a lot of investment going in that area at the moment. If you're thinking of a luxury lifestyle, you might consider luxury is Eastern Thailand, because a lot of things happening in that area. Southern Thailand region encapsulates the Thai-Malay peninsula bound by Kara Isthmus, the northwest part of the narrowest part of the peninsula. Yeah, so that's this area here. Western, but also I think they calling it western parts Burma as you come south to the Andaman Sea coastline. Thailand's biggest island, Phuket, is located off to the southwest to the east coast of the Gulf of Thailand, lapping shores. Okay, so what they're talking about there is, I think it's probably this area from Champon down they refer to as southern Thailand. I don't think you would classify this area here, which is where Hua Hin is.
Challenges in Thailand's hotel industry. About the ground.
Snowy. Snowy. You got your feedback, Snowy.
Who survived on a stick.
G'day, how you going?
Yeah, you got something else running in the background, and it's not my stream.
Right. Who's hosting today?
Yeah. Anyway, so we're still running our stream here. Who are you watching anyway?
Yep.
Who are you watching?
Who am I watching?
Yeah.
Watching you at the moment. I was watching a channel called The Tiger. You've heard that?
Oh, okay. You're watching the Tiger News. We were talking about the Tiger News a little bit before. Anyway, and Western Thailand that's the area. This region of Thailand bordering Myanmar on the west, southern Thailand on the south, and central Thailand on the east. It includes Kanchanaburi to the west, where Hellfire Pass and the Bridge of River Kwai can be found. Northern Gulf coastline region includes Phetchabun. Okay, so Western Thailand. They call that area Western Thailand from Champon up through Kanchanaburi. This all here is west of Bangkok, this is the sort of area, as you can see, the hearts where we've been in our little runarounds. Yeah, people say, do you ever get out of Bangkok? Well, we get out of Bangkok a bit, you said the hearts. These are the places I've been. I actually haven't been. I don't know why I got a heart up there. Why is there a heart up there? I think somebody sort of said, well, they must have... private only hotel. What's that all about? Why is that being saved? Favourites? I've never been there. Maybe I want to go there. Let's just change that to a want to go rather than a hard, because I've never been there. But yeah, as you can see, I've been around the place.
Nice.
But yeah, so yeah, the heart denotes the places I've been, places I still would like to see, and so on and so forth. I believe we're going to bike ride tomorrow, but it's the same bike ride that we went on around Irwin Falls last time, which is up through here and goes around. It's quite a windy road. If I was going to do the bike ride, I might take the CB this time, because this road is not really designed for a cruiser. But we did a live stream, and I've even got what they call a bike ride footage of that one. But everybody else was faster than me when we went there last time, and that's the trouble. They won't slow down for me on my cruiser. I'd have to take the CB to keep up with them. But then of course I don't like riding fast, so I may elect not to go on that one. But yeah, so we've been down south a bit. But yeah, most of the stuff I do around here is in Bangkok. But expect to see a whole bunch of new huts in around the Sukhothai area. Excuse me. Anyhow, 10 things to do in Thailand. Who has done all these sort of things? What have we got? We've got 15 minutes to go. Experience a massage. Taste new latitude wines. I'd like to. Where have we got? I've got to find what's it? Monsoon Valley Graveyard above. Vineyard Graveyard. That's down near Pattaya, isn't it? Khao Yai Village Farm. Silver Lake is at Pattaya. So I think down that way we've got some vineyards. Get off the beaten track. Do some water markets. Explore the Anzac history in Kanchanaburi. I've done a few little trips around there. I'd like to go back and do some of that. They do a bike ride down there. That's a bike weekend that they do down there, and every time they've had the bike weekend, something has come up. So I have managed to plug in.
Is that tuk-tuk made out of a shopping trolley? The front of it looks a bit funky.
It does, doesn't it? Yes, it looks a bit on the funky side. But no, that's a typical tuk-tuk. That's probably maybe one of the older style. They some of them tend to be a little bit more filled in, but there's quite a few varied designs.
Have you seen the black and yellow bangers from South Asia and stuff? They look pretty trippy.
Black and yellow bangers.
Yeah. The tuk-tuks. They're pretty.
I may have come across them. I'm not a connoisseur of tuk-tuk heritage. Visit the World Heritage Sites. Yes, yeah. We've done a few of that. Visit the islands. Something that's on my to-do list is to do a couple of trips down to the islands just to see what all the fuss is about. But again, with Chanya and her business, it just doesn't make sense to run off for a day. Like I've been talking with Sonny. Sonny once said, "Come down for 2 weeks. Come and stay with us for 2 weeks down in Phuket." And it sounds so enticing to spend 2 weeks down in Phuket, but to get Shonda to actually sort of walk away from the business for 2 weeks, it's like come on, she's Thai. She wants to make money. Find a festival. We do get a lot of festivals, but unfortunately, I have seen these floating candle festivals. I've seen it. I've been to 2 of them, but that was back when I was taking trips backwards and forwards. Because I think nowadays that these things have all been banned because of the potential fire risk and things like that. No, the fire risk.
So I got a little mini story regarding that.
Go on. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, you can. So far I've been in Chiang Mai twice when they've had the Yiping, and this last time was November of 2019, before the dark times.
Right.
And there were people lighting these things off, and yeah, they're not allowed, but what's not allowed in Thailand, there's
Happens anyway.
yeah. Anyway, so I'm watching these people light off this thing, and eventually a few people light them off, no problem, and eventually these two police officers come by, and they don't speak English, and they just come by and go, "Medai, medai."
You might
cannot. Yeah. And,
What does that mean?
It means,
it means cannot.
Cannot.
No, cannot. And the tourists were just really confused because they had been sold these things. So they and then they started arguing a little bit with the police officers. The police officers didn't give them a ticket or anything. They just smashed the lantern into the ground. I actually have a video of it.
That's a bit aggressive.
Yeah, but I mean, in the U.S., you would be fined. You might be, put in jail for the night for then arguing or something. So I mean, honestly, I think it was the right amount of force. It was just and when I say smashed into the ground, they just kind of patted it into the ground.
Oh right, yeah. I thought they made a fuss about it.
No.
Yeah, not really. They couldn't speak English, so they were just trying to make a point you can't do that. But it was fun watching that whole encounter happen.
Yeah, but when we did do them, we had one time, I think, at a Relocating festival, where we lit the candles locally, or I think a little bit out west from here. This was in 2004, 2005 or something. And another time it was, I think it was not 2004, I've lost track. Anyway, there was one time out west they did it, and then another time we did the lighting the candles. It was actually for the King's birthday. I think it was 2012 I was over here for the King's birthday. And they actually lit them from a bridge, I think Rama Gal Bridge. They're sort of just big grassed area, and all these lit candles went up everywhere. And then the following day there was all these reports of little brush fires everywhere. And I think that was the last time they allowed the candles to be lit in Bangkok. But it was actually amazing to see these things going up. And it's always great. You always see the pictures of the ones that actually do fly. What you never see is the pictures of the ones that burn up before they even get off the ground, because
or hit power lines. Or,
well, not so much that.
Yeah.
They light the thing in the centre, but they don't wait for it to really fill up with hot air, right, before they let go of it, and they just fall to the ground and they just go poof in a ball of flame, because it's all rice paper.
Oh.
So for every 20 you see floating, there'll be one failure, which is like a crash and burn, which you never see that on any of the videos, because that's anti-festival, isn't it? If I ever get to see one again, this Sony camera I got is pretty good for night filming. I think when I was there last time, I was filming from an SLR sort of type of thing, and it really was not set up for night filming back then. They didn't have the right lenses and all that sort of stuff, and the right filters, and I'm very anti SLR or G7X for vlogging and crap like that. I don't know what people are so fascinated for. If you're gonna make vlogs, video, you buy a camera that's dedicated for video. You don't buy a camera that's dedicated and built specifically to do what they call still photography, and then turn on the video capture function, because that's an afterthought in the software, right? It's not for filming video, but I think it was Casey Neistat made it popular. Idiot. No, sorry. If you want to do vlogging, this is the best camera to go vlogging in, and it still is the best camera on the market. This is the Sony FDR X3000. It's got gimbal stabilization on the lens. That's why you don't see very much shaking on my film, as opposed to digital stabilization on a GoPro. GoPros are less expensive, but that camera, I think, if that ever broke, I'd buy another one, because
So how much did that set you back when you bought your first one?
this one here, this camera here,
Yeah.
that was 16,000 baht, which is if I go to the Australian dollar, so 16,000.
Would it be about 800 Aussie dollars?
700 Australian dollars.
Right.
Right. So,
Yeah, I'm not up with the exchange rate at the moment.
So, and in case, I also have my what they call handycams, which again, handycams are good because they've got optical zoom, right? So, and again, you can see what you're shooting. You can do better with your camera, and there is one in the Sony range which I really like, but it's 60,000 baht. Right.
Yep.
Okay. When I've made a promise, when I have 100,000 subscribers, and and I make $1,000 a month from AdSense, then I will go out and buy myself that Sony camera just to really, get some good footage. Because it's got. Not only does it have the optical zoom, it actually has a proper gimbaled lens as well. So it's good for motion, good for everything. It's just an absolutely brilliant camera, but it's 60,000 baht. Yeah, and I refuse to spend that much money on my hobby. I didn't.
Well,
my computer.
Grand.
My computer cost me 60,000 baht. Right.
Right.
And I use that every day, for 5-6 hours a day. That was just.
Is that a gaming one?
Oh,
Gaming
yeah,
computer? Or?
It's a gaming rig, yeah.
Yeah. It's quite.
Got all the gay stuff. Yep. Anyway, I'm just looking at a time. We're 5 minutes before closing out. Eat like a local. Yes, you're going to come to Thailand. The best thing about Thailand is the food.
Ooh, cow soy.
Khao soi. I've not really been into khao soi, but I think I've eaten it once. It just wasn't one of my favourites. You like the rich and spicy food, don't you, Psycho?
Oh,
Pad Thai was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's usually not bad.
Pad Thai. Yeah, Pad Thai's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just not into tofu. That's all.
Yeah.
But Pad Thai's okay. It's a good occasional meal. But my stomach can't deal too much with spicy food these days. I have gastric.
Cow soy's not too bad because it's for spiciness because it's got the coconut in it.
Yeah.
So it's like tom yum, the ka version. That's got the coconut milk in it. So cow soy is in some ways similar to that.
Oh,
cow soy is still my favorite.
We've also got to talk about. We brought this up again, like this app I want to make for the phone app, my menu app. Did we get any further with the investigation of how to build an app for Android and iOS? You were going to do some research on that, Psycho, weren't you?
I vaguely remember this, and
you said it was a great idea. You told me it was a great idea. Do it, yeah. But that's as far as we got. And I said I don't know the next step.
It got supplanted.
Look, I could probably help you out a little bit with that.
Could you?
It depends on what kind of app are you looking for? An iOS app, did you say? Or?
Well, I won't tell the whole public. When we finish the live stream in 5 minutes, stick around and maybe we'll talk about it. Because I'm looking for information on how to get started. I've got an idea for an app which I want to develop for Android and iOS for visitors to Thailand, and it has to do with food. That's as far as I'm going to say. But if
you want to do a straightforward tutorial on that, have you heard of a site called W3 Schools?
No.
So W3 Schools takes you through step by step on how to build web pages and apps. And it also gives you some templates that you can fiddle with, so they're completely copyright free. So you can, add your own details and basically
Stick
steal
around.
the code.
Stick around until after the video finishes, or the live stream finishes, and let's talk a bit more about that.
Sure.
You can send me a link.
Sure.
Need to,
Yep,
because I think
will do.
Psycho wants to do something as well. Shop till you drop, and of course another 10th thing is shopping. Thailand is great for shopping as long as you don't want to buy Western crap. If you want to buy Thai-made stuff, you're gonna go to town with this stuff. Buy all the elephant pants you want. Just don't wear the elephant pants in Thailand. You look like a farang in elephant pants. Really, don't buy elephant pants. Honestly, some people have got no idea. Anyway, I think don't buy elephant pants if you're going to come to Thailand. Seriously, buy a sarong at least. Buy something from Myanmar. That's what I wear around the house. I wear a sarong.
Lungies.
But yeah, definitely don't wear those elephant pants, and don't wear elephant pants in public. God, you look like such a dork. Really.
They're kind of like loose-fitting pajamas, aren't they?
Well, they
The elephant
are.
Pants, that's what those look like to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I went through I went through a period. I think first couple of years, we went to some place and I got some, and they were great for around the house. But definitely don't wear them out. Seriously, do not wear them in public.
Aren't they basically for chicks? Like, don't women wear them more than dudes? Or not sure.
Women do tend to wear them more than guys. But yeah, seriously,
Yeah.
you just look you look like a farang. Don't look like a farang in Thailand. Anyway,
Not recommended?
not recommended.
It looks like, charge me the foreigner price, please.
Yeah, Chase,
Yeah,
here,
double try.
I'm a foreigner. Please charge me what you feel like. Yes. Anyway, guys, it's 2 hours on the market. 2 hours. We do try to wrap it up at the 2 hour mark. So great having you along. It's a bit of a different one from the last couple of weeks. I actually had something to talk about.
Awesome.
Anyway, so the people just stick around on the Discord. Stick around, right? We'll continue chatting after the thing, but quiet for the next 20 seconds while we do the closeout screen, which you don't see on Discord, but they do on the live stream. Okay, peace out, guys.
Right.
See you later, and we'll catch up with you next time. Bye for now.
See ya.
Cut.